Hi Martin folks, this is Elina and today we're going to talk about how to prepare for your doctoral interview if you're applying for a doctoral degree in the arts. First of all, congrats! You passed the interview round, that's brilliant news, but what is there to expect? Because you never know. Here is the link to the video on how my personal process went. I'm currently a doctoral candidate at the University of Music and Performing Arts Graz in Austria, precisely at the Doctoral School of Artistic Research. And I'm explaining exactly what I did and how long everything took and things like that. There I'm also mentioning that you must rehearse your presentation many times. If it's online, you must rehearse it online, on Zoom, with your friends, with your parents, with your teachers, with everyone you can possibly get to. You have to be able to recite your presentation in your sleep. Of course, you can have an outline, but you must be really ready, and you have to time it, because you'll be provided the precise timing of how long the presentation is gonna take. You might be using examples, either recorded or live if you are a performing artist. So all these things are going to be specified to you by the school. Of course, they can vary, they are different from school to school, so please read the requirements carefully in order to prepare your presentation and adjust it for every school. It might not be exactly the same, you might include some changes for your interviews if you have more than one. So you nailed your presentation, you know it by heart, probably from the inside out, you love it, you hate it, wonderful. What else can there be? There can be questions that you will probably be asked about your project. I don't think if anybody can leave the interview without any single question that they're asked. Be ready to process these questions. You don't know what you're going to be asked, so listen very carefully. Think and answer slowly. Don't necessarily answer what you have prepared, because it might not be corresponding to what you're asked. Really listen and show how flexible you are. I have written down a possible list of questions that I would be asked, and I kind of prepared my answers for them. But the funniest part is that I wasn't asked any of these questions, and whatever I was asked was completely different. Of course, it was related to my project, but it was something that I didn't expect. So I had to come up with the answer on the spot. So you have to be ready to do it. Of course, think about what you can be asked, but it does not mean that you will necessarily be asked that. I could have even included those questions that I planned for myself, in this video, but I decided not to do it in this video because, first of all, I wasn't asked any of them, and second of all, this video is going to be really long. However, if you are interested particularly in those questions that I thought I could potentially be asked, please write it in the comments, and then I will make another separate video about that part. Of course, there will be time for you to ask the questions. There should be, in fact. Think about what you are going to ask. What are you going to ask about the school, about the department precisely? There is, of course, the very delicate subject of financing. You may inquire, if it was not on the website, what financing programs they have. For example, whether they support doctoral candidates, whether they can provide a fellowship, or maybe they have some travel funds, maybe they have some scholarships. So first of all, of course, browse the website, all the materials that are provided there, download them, read them, etc. But if nothing like this is written, which is probably not going to be the case, because usually some financial info is written on the school's website, but if not, feel free to ask them, or if you're confused about whatever they wrote, if you need more detail, then also feel free to reach out to them about that subject. Ask about the environment at the school. What are the facilities, if it was not precisely indicated on the website, of course. What's the working atmosphere? How are you going to interact with your colleagues, with your peers? What are the events they organize and how you can contribute? You know, it has to fit both ways. The school has to see that you are a good fit for them, and you must see that the school is a good fit for you. So it has to correspond both ways. Ask about the interdisciplinary support if it's relevant to you. Ask about the research support. If you're interested in studying abroad for 1-2 semesters, inquire about that, whether they support it, whether they have exchange programs and so on. Create an impression that you're not an outsider, even if you are. You gotta show that you're able to integrate with the people there fast. Say something about your own work, probably about your expertise, so they see better that you are a good fit for them. Offer help with administrative. Be open-minded about your doctoral project because that's not the final word yet. Some things might change and be adjusted along the way. You gotta show that you're flexible. That's probably all gonna happen at the end. Going back in time to the beginning of the interview, of course, it's mostly focused on your proposal, so you gotta familiarize yourself with the main key points and be very, very fluent about that. You have to focus on answering all the possible questions and doubts and provide explanations about your project precisely. That's very crucial. And your presentation should not consist of the same text as your exposé because they have read your exposé, and your presentation has to concentrate on your project, definitely, but it shouldn't be word to word as the text body of your proposal. Most likely what they're going to ask about is how you're going to proceed with your methodology, and there probably will be questions about the methodology. This is the most complicated part, and I was concentrating on working through your methodology for the proposal in the video right here. You have to expect that the methodology is going to trigger the biggest number of questions. That's what's usually the crucial point. Now, for performers and practicing artists, don't worry too much if you're not really familiar with the literature. After all, you're not art historians, musicologists and whatnot. If you don't know something, it's better that you say that you haven't familiarized yourself with this subject or this aspect, unfortunately, but you inquire about the literature that they would probably recommend you to read. So you have to show that you're open-minded. Nobody knows everything. This is normal. But you have to show that you're willing to learn. Don't try to make up for the holes in your knowledge by trying to say something that doesn't make sense, by trying to kind of lie to cover it up. Don't do that because it's going to be very clear. They're going to ask the next question and then you won't be able to avoid some embarrassment. So it's better to be very honest and tell them if you don't know it, you don't know it, but how can you learn about it perhaps? What are the resources that they can recommend? Again, when you are asked a question, please really listen. A lot of people are stuck in their heads, they just don't listen and then they can't properly answer the question. So that's very important that the connection between you and them is in real time, you know. They'll clearly see if you have rehearsed certain answers, but they kind of don't fit as an answer to the last question you were asked. So it's gonna be really clear and, again, really embarrassing. If you have an opinion on something, if you're asked for your opinion, express your opinion. That's what you're there for. But be ready to specify the reasons why you think in that particular way. Your opinion has to be based on something. So just to summarize, be honest, listen, know your lack, and express the will to learn. Be opinionated, be open-minded. Provide reasoning for your thinking, for your arguments. It's fine to disagree if you can really prove that your opinion is strong and why. In academia, it's very important to show that you have put thought into subjects, and if you can show it, you're going to be respected. But of course, There can be things that you don't know, so be open-minded. That will show that you respect evidence. Do defend what you think, but qualify that you're open for a revision if it is clear that one is needed. So don't be afraid to argue, but show a readiness to learn. This is how they're gonna see that you're a good candidate. I wish you the best of luck with your upcoming interview. Congrats again that you have passed. And let me know in the comments, for those of you who are going to be interviewed soon, please comment below how it went, and I hope that this video helped you. Don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe, hit the bell, and I will see you in the next one. Have a blast. Bye!